We got 23 steps. How many steps was that drop back?
But I think he's got to make the playoffs to keep his job.
It didn't show?
Updating those standings. They're now 4 games out of the wild card after last night's wonderful experience.
Well, in that case, they're done. They need to sell.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, thank you. That's the answer we're looking for. Hey, before you go, did you catch on the TK pod that Kyle Shanahan admitted that he offered Bill Belichick a job on the defensive side as an assistant this year, but Belichick said no?
No, I did not see that. That makes me feel so good because I put my neck out on the line.
I know, but I remember because I did you for your take, but your take was that it was going to happen, not that it was going to be offered, Larry.
Well, I mean, it goes to show, though, I do know the team that I cover. I knew the Niners would be interested. I knew they would go after him. Shanahan loves Belichick. And you know what? I mean, if you ask me, what's Bill Belichick want? If Bill Belichick actually wants to be a coach again of a good team, I think his better situation would have been to be the defensive czar on a Niner team that wins 3 rings in the next 5 years under Shanahan. And then as opposed to sitting in some studio, let's say some Bleacher Report donkey, tell you his opinions, and you're like, yeah, so that's a good call, Matt. I don't know.
This entire conversation was worth it just for you to say Bleacher Report donkey. Really good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that is. Okay.
I'll get salty on you.
I'm aware. Thank you, Lawrence. Do you like being called Lawrence?
I do. It reminds me of my late mother. I'm now going to go say a prayer about her because she used to call me Lawrence. And I appreciate that you brought that up. And now I'm going to go have a moment.
Okay. Go have a moment. We will too. Thank you, sir.
See you guys. Good to talk to you.
Yep. We'll see you out there tomorrow. Lawrence Kruger, after being at Niners camp today, joining us with the latest. And I'm just going to call him out right now because I have to. He completely waffled on the Brandon Ayuk thing. He's like, he's either going to get an extension or he's going to be traded at the end of August. And then we're like, that doesn't make any sense. And he's like, yeah, that other stuff could happen too. I'm like, wait a minute, what are we really predicting here? I'll give you a firm one if you want. I'll give you a complete pause.
Totally.
I will write. Thank you, TJ. I'll write this in ink. The Niners aren't trading Brandon Ayuk this year.
Well, yeah.
Why would they do that? I don't understand why everyone keeps bringing this up.
What about the other part of it? Will they sign him? And Larry said that they could sign him as the year goes on.
They might.
You can give him his bag as the year is underway. I don't think that that's going to be the way this goes. I'll keep it as strong as I can. Just say he's going to play the year in his 5th-year option. That's going to be the way that goes.
Please, 888-957-9570. Can someone answer that question? Why would the Niners trade Brandon Ayuk in August? What the hell would their reasoning be?
Well, they might trade him in September or October.
Why?
If Pearsall comes out and flashes and pops.
Okay.
I still don't think they would, but that would be the scenario.
You have got to be 100% sure that Ricky Pearsall's middle name is Puka. You have to be totally...
Middle name Puka Pearsall?
I'm in on Puka Pearsall.
Totally.
If he's Puka, we're good. If he's not, why on earth would you do that?
He ain't better than me.
Presented by Fremont Bank, celebrating 60 years of full-service bank with no compromises. All right, if you missed what Lynch and Shanahan have to say
Brandon
about
Ayuk, let's go.
Why would they trade Brandon Ayuk? Request be damned. All right, we can get into all of this coming up on Road to Dicks.
Man, y'all don't know the game, man.
Want to save on some of the biggest names in streaming on the network made for streaming? Now through September 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for 12 months with a 1-year contract. And for just $15 a month, add the new Stream Saver. That includes Peacock, Apple TV Plus, and Netflix for just $35 a month. Switch at Xfinity.com today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless payment on a pay store bank account. Equipment taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Currently $54 a month. Actual speeds vary. Stream Saver requires Xfinity internet or TV and price subject to change.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Granger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned to believe.
Hey, come on. What are you waiting for? Press like, hit the bell, and subscribe. Debo takes a pitch, stutter steps. Purdy in shotgun. Debo in motion. Into the dirt, intended for 80 Kittle? 85 is Kittle. Come on, Brock, you gotta hit that. They say his arm lost strength, but he recovered it in the end of the season. It looks like his arm still hasn't recovered from surgery. The ball dropped into 15. Who the hell is 15? I don't get to see every play of every game. This is the most of this game I've watched. Kickoff is soon, guys. Kickoff next Friday night. Thank you, James Light, for the upload. You have no comment. There's no sound on your track, James.
Boxer in person at 510-345-2341 or visit boxerlaw.com for a free consultation. Boxer in person. Your life is worth the fight. PXG East Bay has a treat for all you golfers out there. If you've been wanting to swing PXG's incredible golf clubs, now's the time. Come in, try our sticks, and we'll give you a dozen golf balls free just for doing it. PXG's extreme premium golf balls deliver big
Nice
distance,
stop.
snappy green grabbing control, and a slick alignment aid to help you sink more putts. In third-party testing, PXG golf balls delivered similar performance to Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X. And if you're thinking PXG's high-performance equipment is too expensive, or that you're not a good enough golfer to play our clubs, think again. You'll be amazed that our clubs often cost less than the so-called leading brands. On top of that, we make clubs for golfers at every level, and we'll custom fit you for the right ones to maximize your performance.
5 o'clock in the afternoon.
PXG East Bay today at 925-965-7919. Visit us at 4468 Tassahar Road in Dublin, or at pxg.com, and swing PXG's outstanding custom golf clubs and get your free golf balls. But hurry, diamonds may be forever, but this deal isn't. Number 1 dozen golf balls per person. Other terms and conditions may apply. See store for details.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
A lot of Bay Area banking customers are faced with a choice. Which financial institution best fits what they're looking for? It might make sense to consider a bank's history. Take Fremont Bank. For 60 years, we've provided stability and consistency with an emphasis on relationships. We've grown one customer at a time, not through mergers or acquisitions, because that's how you can do business when you're independently owned and community focused. Fremont Bank. Here for you, here for good.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco, on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Now, back to Will and Nibby on 95.7 The Game.
Quick aside.
We love these.
We'll get back to the Niners. But quick aside, Matos just get himself sent down with that performance last night?
What do you mean? Please explain. I mean, all he did was catch a fly ball, and the center fielder didn't call him off.
He is not in the lineup tonight, which neither here nor there because a right-hander is throwing for the Dodgers, and so Michael Conforto will be in left field. But according to Robert Murray, the Giants have claimed outfielder Derek Hill. Derek Hill.
Who are you?
Derek.
Who are you? He's a former first-round pick.
Derek has been playing with the Texas Rangers. An outfielder.
I say he's an idiot.
And that's what we designated him for assignment, but good player. Anyway, Derek Hill is an outfielder, and he bats right-handed. And
Nice guru there.
not just the sniffles.
Yeah.
Bats right-handed, and he had 43 at bats this year, and he got 11 hits. 3 of them were bombs. Okay. Well, OPS of 754, and the Rangers designated him for assignment, and the Giants moments ago decided that guy's for us. So they've claimed him.
I gotta say something real quick.
What do you got, Lucas?
You guys mess around and call me League Pass Luke, and you know it's an appropriate nickname because I've watched a lot of sport.
Sure is.
Get the bloom ready, Grant.
Director of sports.
Play fantasy baseball, watch baseball all across the country here. Watch a lot of different teams. Somehow, I just don't really understand it. All of these guys that the Giants seem to grab off the scrap heap, I've never heard of a single one of them. This Bauman guy with Seattle.
Yeah, Mike.
This person, I couldn't even tell you this guy's name that they just signed from the Rangers.
His name is Derek Hill.
Yeah,
Hope he's
former
great.
first-round pick of the Detroit Tigers, Luke.
Never heard of any of them. It's just so weird.
Out of Elk Grove High School in Elk Grove, California.
Shout out Brownie Telez, probably a former teammate.
Is a career 232 hitter, a career 615 OPS, but 7 times in his life he has hit the ball over the fence in a major league game.
On purpose.
In 323 at bats, 7 home runs.
He can steal a bag. Stolen a couple this year.
You're telling me, like, you never heard of Jackson Reitz before he made his Giants debut this year?
I am telling you that.
Oh, okay.
I actually unheard of Jackson Reitz.
Forgot about him?
Yeah, on
Forgot about
purpose. Yeah, on purpose. Derek Hill.
Just one time sign someone I've heard of, Giants.
Well, no.
Why not?
Because that costs money.
Oh.
And I'm just seeing it now, according to MLB.com, I have their 40-man roster, and he is now listed under outfielders with minors next to his name. So they claimed him, and they promptly sent him to the minors, it appears.
I don't think they're calling him up tonight.
But, I mean, Luis Matos, at least for now, appears to be safe.
Safe for tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they got a game in 2 hours. I don't think they're sending him out tonight.
Well, there's
But-
still time.
You know what I mean? Like if I'm Matos, I'm not leaving anything in my hotel room tonight. Bring it with you.
Yeah, it's awkward.
Well, come on.
Well,
They're about to uncork a 7-game win streak. They need people
Right.
who can hit right now. And they need people who, when Elliot Ramos is running full speed at you, get out the way. Or catch the ball.
see, I don't know whose fault that is.
Well-
Just watching it, that to me it's obviously a miscommunication,
Sensation.
and the center fielder's the boss. So the center fielder's got to take charge of that situation.
And for all we know, he did. But Luis didn't stop. And at a certain point, Elliot and Luis both chose to save their own bodies rather than catch the ball. Is that a good decision? I don't know. But somebody has got to duck out of the way.
And well, both did. They both ducked out of the way.
Right.
And Matos veered so far over from left field that you would figure when you go that far that you have the intention of catching the ball. And Ramos comes all the way over, and if you're the center fielder and you're the captain of the outfield, your job is to take charge and make that play. Make the left fielder know that you've got it. I got it. Mine. Ball. Whatever you choose. And he didn't. And then, so Matos Matos continues to kind of meander. Ramos in late, and then whoop, we got all of a sudden we got ourselves a rally.
Ball game.
Basically.
No, ball game.
Well, that was the leadoff batter, right? In the eighth.
Ball game.
I know what you're saying. I had the same experience.
I would have bet every last dollar I have that he was going to score, and he did. Lock it up. Ball game. That's the Dodgers against the Giants right now. Like, it's the 8th inning, it's a tie game, and Kike Hernandez is leading off. I could have told you how it was going to end before he even stepped to the plate. That's the way this goes. And that
text to the group was most predictable thing ever.
Completely. And I'm done with it. I'm absolutely and completely done with it. Kike shaking his rear end over there at second base for a hit he didn't even earn. I'm done. I'm done. That's just like, stop playing Little League Baseball. There's so much of it with the Giants this year. Stop playing Little League Baseball. Stop forgetting to cover first base if you're a pitcher. Stop not communicating in the outfield. Stop swinging at every curveball that's a foot off of the plate. Stop. Stop. And stop signing people that Lucas hasn't heard of. It's all Little League. It's all Little League.
He's a 28-year-old former first-round pick. Yeah. I think it's fine for Farhan. He might be the key, Mark. There's your trade acquisition right there. Acquisition. I couldn't get it out.
They're pulling in guys on the daily.
Yeah.
Buyers or seller? Buyers. They're just at the dollar bin. Again.
Well,
again.
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
They've claimed outfielder Derek Hill. So he was designated for assignment. Does that mean they've claimed him off of waivers? So that's not going to be a trade. The Giants aren't sending cash or some kid named Spencer. None of that.
It's always got to be a Spencer.
Well, I was using Bob for a while, but then
Spencer's better.
Nobody names their kid Bob anymore.
No.
You know what I mean? I think those days are over.
The Giants have a Spencer, but he's also in the minors right now.
Which actually is kind of annoying, to be honest with you. Why is Luke Jackson still on the team and Spencer Bivens isn't? Bivens gets more outs. I understand that you have to eat money. I get it. But, you know.
$4 million would be the eat right now.
Sorry, I'm over here trying to win games.
Greg Johnson's trying to break even.
My bad.
He's on the record as saying breaking even is kind of cool for him. So he's not going to eat $4 million when he can, you know, have him send Bivens and Birdsong out. And, you know, you're able to make a bold move like they did today.
Are Bivens and Birdsong the new Moody and Looney?
Bivens and Birdsong to Sacramento.
Yeah, they go for a walk.
Yeah. Well, they go to Old Town. They go catch a River Cats game. They like the beam. They're in Sacramento, although Birdsong is in San Jose.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
Well, only 60 more of these to go. And what was your follow-up text? I want to make sure
I think I swore.
Well, that was later.
Yeah.
You did say, God, I hate this team with such a passion.
I did.
And then I came back with what I thought was a clever twist based on what had happened with Randy Rodriguez. Randy is not dandy, and you immediately gave me a one.
That was just a horrible job of reading the room. I'm over here screaming, yelling, and cussing, and you're rhyming. Randy's not dandy.
I'm a Giants fan.
Dude, if you were here right now, I'd hit you in the face. I am not in the mood for Randy's not dandy. Like, this is not okay.
That's why I did it.
Randy's not dandy.
That's why Randy hits you with It's, something about you makes me, and I think Randy too, kind of want to poke.
Oh, that's fine.
It's a time to poke.
That's fine.
You gave me one, and I thought that was generous. I wasn't looking for 4s and 5s.
Yeah. No, I don't mind being
Bear,
desperate.
straight line
That's
forward.
fine. Of course. I'm not going to bother you with that.
And then you did swear later. After
Yeah.
Lucas, sick game, sick team.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Why don't Lucas,
Like,
what did
are
you...
they sickly?
Anyway.
Anyhow.
I wasted enough time on
It's
this.
called sarcasm. Oh, okay. Doesn't really play, even on Android. Yeah.
All right, so Derek Hill is on the 40-man, and
Yeah.
Luis Matos is looking over his shoulder with every at bat.
Because
that's great. That's a great way to do it. We'll put the fear of Derek Hill in him. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
It's kind of an ongoing Schmidt show, is what it is, with all these micro moves and young players not feeling comfortable. Like you said, it's just the fundamental baseball part of it, where ground ball to the right side, Logan Webb just doesn't cover first, base running mistakes, outfielders who choose not to field the ball to try to get outs.
Yeah.
You have the worst stolen base discrepancy in baseball.
Oh my gosh.
All these little things that add up to losing baseball.
Can't hold a runner on.
Right.
Your hot shot prospect who's been in the minors for 4 years, you bring him up and suddenly he gets here and you're like, oh God, we forgot to ask him to catch the ball when it's hit to him. I don't know, man. It's, some of this gets irrational. I don't want to sound like that, but it's really, really frustrating. So, anyway, let's get back to the Niners. This is way more fun. Camp is open, and apparently Kyle Shanahan, he tried to get Bill Belichick. He tried to get Bill to come run that defense from the TK show.
I did. I threw it out to him. He loves football so much that you never know what he could. I can't believe that he's not a head coach of a team right now. I know what I would do if I was an owner, so that shocks me. And the last thing you want to do is insult someone like Bill Belichick. But I know he just loves ball in the simplest form. So I threw it all out to him, like whatever he'd want to do. Yeah, I was like, would you be interested? And he was very nice and appreciative, but he politely turned me down. But I think he's helping out his son a little bit. I know he's involved in Washington up there and trying to start that help out with Jed Fish and what he's doing out there. And, it could be good too, because I'm sure he's going to be back in the league next year. And I don't know how, and I could be going against him. He could be in the NFC West. So it would have sucked if he came here and then he was going against us every week too. So that's stuff you got to be careful about. But, he's the best. And, I just like talking to him.
Wow, watch out, Cardinals and Seahawks. Kyle Shanahan predicts that Bill Belichick is going to steal your job. Coming up here this next offseason.
It's possible, I suppose, but at some point, as a head coach who is now 72 years old, and next time the season goes around, he'll be 73. You get to a diminishing return.
I agree. I asked Ephraim on Sunday. I go, is he even hireable? And Ephraim goes, oh yeah, he's Bill Belichick. And I go, I get that, and I get where Shanahan's coming from. Shanahan's 44 years old, he's a coach, he looks up to Bill Belichick. But do young players in the league, do they want to sign up for, quote-unquote, the Patriot way? Like, does that resonate anymore? Especially when you're doing it without all of the bells and whistles that used to make it work. Like, how many players have now spoken publicly about how they're like, dude, it's awful. It's awful, but you do it because you win, your profile grows, and quite frankly, you're not really given a choice. If you're drafted to the Patriots and you walk in and Tom Brady is sitting there, and he's like, this is how we do things around here. Like, holy hell, this is how we do things around here. But will that work now? Bill Belichick comes in and takes over the whatever, comes in and takes over the Carolina Panthers. Are you like, well, we better do things Bill Belichick's way? Maybe you are, but I feel like there's got to be something else kind of going on with it. He coached the Patriots the last few years. They were not good. It's kind of the point that I made a little bit earlier. This is one thing that for me, and I know it bothers people,
It's very rare that
because
the Bears have
Richmond's
a
on
good
is not
quarterback.
wrong when he says, look, Kyle Shanahan's not perfect. Nobody's perfect. So you want to call out a play call in the Super Bowl, be my guest, you're probably right. There's some things you could absolutely call out. Do you want to call him out for hiring Steve Wilkes and then throwing him under the bus? I think that's fair. But here's what's also fair. Around the league, the coaches who elevate all the way to quote-unquote the top coaches in the game, have you noticed what all of them have? They've all got a great, great quarterback.
I'm not an expert.
Great quarterback. Oh, I like John
Detroit
Harbaugh.
roster, I
Right.
think 97.
Lamar Jackson.
Two-time MVP.
Okay.
Adrian
And
Hutchinson,
the best
number
coach in the
97.
league is clearly it's Andy Reid. That's interesting because he coached for 4,000 years in the NFL before you thought that, and you didn't think that until what? Until Patrick Mahomes. And over here's Bill Belichick, who had a pre-Brady career and a post-Brady career, and I'm pretty sure that involved more losses than wins. But when Brady was there, he's the greatest coach of all time. Well, what's Shanahan done? Shanahan has largely won with the 49ers with a guy who just got dragged through a Netflix documentary. He went to a Super Bowl with him. Devontae Adams couldn't even play 5 games with the guy
Without going off on
without losing his mind.
That's a good point.
So, get on me all you want when I say I would not trade Kyle Shanahan for anyone. Anyone.
Well, TJ Houshmandzadeh talked about how, Niner fans need to wake up to the reality that Kyle Shanahan is one of the best in football. And, you be careful about what you wish for. And he used the old spouse analogy when you get rid of your wife and you realize on the other side of the fence and you try to get her back and she's not coming back and you're left, wishing that you had her back. And that's the situation here with Shanahan is, be careful what you wish for. Is he the absolute best at everything? No. Is he a guy who comes up short in the pass game? You can think that, but he's gotten there in, 4 of the last 7 years? They've been in the NFC Championship game?
I don't even understand fully what's going on offense.
I mean, he's
This
kind of slow.
Netflix thing, it's like, good God.
If
What
Justin
the hell?
Fields
Like Jimmy could not
is
function.
not moving fast, he doesn't have the
Couldn't
ball. So he's
complete a
kind of
pass
like,
to people who were standing by themselves.
he has
When he was
this
here, he went to a Super Bowl. And he won. He won a lot of games even when he wasn't the
His
Super Bowl
handoff.
quarterback. What on earth is going on? And I'm trying like hell to not let that
he's
enter my
looser
Brock Purdy
when he's
brain
giving the
because
ball away.
look,
He gets really
is Brock a
tense if he's keeping
superstar?
the
I
ball.
don't think that.
Like,
I
that-
don't think that. Is Brock
That was a
elevated
good
because
fake.
of
He stayed
teammates
tense
and Kyle?
after the
Yes.
handoff.
But is Brock also way better than Jimmy? Yes. And I think the numbers show that. He's not dink and dunk, but is he elevated because of what's around him? Sure. To what
He doesn't
level
take a
is
lot
what
of
everybody's
steps.
trying to figure out. Then again, I don't know if it matters.
It doesn't matter as long as he's here.
As long as
He
Kyle's
runs in
here,
circles
as long
real
as the
quick.
offensive weapons are here, then this works. And I firmly believe it works well enough. But that is some kind of
He's too small to be a
characteristic
downhill
to
runner.
carry around with you in the
I don't know how
NFL.
he,
I'm the head
This is like
coach
probably
whose team is
gonna be
good, whether we've got a
the
good
NFL
QB or not.
career.
Oh my God. When has that ever been true ever with anyone?
It's pretty rare. And, a lot of times the
Not
quarterback
Harris.
becomes elevated because the team
Got
wins
85
and you have a
yards,
good coach who helps you play
95
better. And
again.
I think that's the case of Jimmy Garoppolo. We've certainly seen him
Justin
go
Fields
elsewhere and
get about 40,
subsequently not play as
45
well.
yards a
And even
game.
Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard,
Pass
whose careers
for
weren't great
200
here, but they were
yards,
better here than they've been
400
elsewhere.
Steelers may
And Trey
average
Lance, we'll see if he gets
400
another crack
yards a
somewhere.
game.
And he didn't get much of a chance here for obvious reasons.
I
But
wouldn't call
I do think that
Justin Fields
we have
a
to keep
300
always
yard
that
player.
in mind when we talk about the great quarterback rankings. A lot of these guys are
He's
so
250
dependent
plus
on the
40.
coach and the
He would
system
be about
anyway, no matter
390
who it
again.
is, that sometimes we look at quarterbacks in a vacuum and it's not appropriate. It really is who's around you, what's the scheme, and how successful you are.
Yeah, 100%. Look, all of these things feed one another. I'm not trying to diminish Bill Belichick. I mean, my
Currently
goodness.
the 5th oldest coach in history, and if he got another job, I think he would pass Romeo Crennel, 73, almost 73 and a half when he had the gig.
The quarterback without the ball.
And this is also a moment in time conversation as well. I'm just like, in America, we're in a little bit of a moment here where people who are well past 70 years old, I'm like, can we not put all of our chips into the middle of that table? Like, so I don't want to go down that road. But like, if I'm running an organization, I'm both thinking short term and long term. Am I excited as an organization? I know he's Bill Belichick, but okay, what is he 4 years from now? That's kind of like 4 year, right? You bring someone in, okay, I need a year to get my people around me, let's have a draft, let's have another draft. and then let's build what we're building. The process takes
They're
about 3
playing
or 4 years.
indoors,
Now
without
he's
sleeves,
78.
without gloves.
What?
Yes.
I don't know,
Players
man.
have
That,
gloves
that,
for
you know,
quarterback.
Shanahan says, I'm shocked that owners haven't, ponied up and got him. I don't know,
This
man. I don't
commentary
know if I would do that.
Especially
Over
with
my
a field
head.
like that, where
Another
it's
video.
pretty demanding. You're talking about 16-hour days, and it takes a lot of energy and a lot of effort. And also what you said about the post-Brady run in New England, where he was unable to kind of get that thing right, and he tabbed a quarterback who doesn't look like he's going to be the guy. Mac Jones doesn't appear to be the answer. I know it's tough to follow Tom Brady and tough to follow a legend, but if Bill Belichick was really the genius, then he probably would have done better at quarterback in that draft.
Well, I mean, he's a defensive guy.
Right.
I know people hang that around Shanahan with Trey Lance, and that's fair. He's an offensive guru. Bill Belichick's not. The Patriots ended up last year. It was like 2 years ago, they didn't even have an offensive person calling plays. The thing got totally just out of whack once Tom Brady left. Speaking of Tom Brady, this is also interesting from the TK show. This is a little beefy, but this is so interesting. We want to play the whole thing for you. Take a listen to Kyle Shanahan talking about reaching out to Tom Brady last offseason, having a conversation with Brock Purdy about that, and why he felt comfortable doing that in what was a rare circumstance last year.
I have to feel very confident just from a football standpoint and from just a relationship standpoint, what's right and wrong kind of, to feel good about doing something. And I felt very good about that and comfortable. So it wasn't a hard conversation for me with Brock. You have to ask him about it. It's not always the best thing that you want to hear. But I thought when I explained it, I looked at it as a huge compliment. After the 2019 season, that was Jimmy's first year as a starter in his career. And he did some really good things, and we almost won a Super Bowl. He was a young quarterback. We had only played with 1 year. And to get a call a few weeks after that with Tom Brady wanting to come play for us, that was one of the hardest things I've ever gone through in my life. Because Tom Brady is the best quarterback to ever play. He's who I've watched since day one when my career started, and that was kind of a dream of mine. And I knew how good he was. But I also knew we had a very young quarterback who had got us that far. And to sit and risk that young quarterback with, I forget how old he was at the time, 41 or whatever, I just kept thinking, like, what if he comes in at that age, pulls a hamstring, and now I've messed up Jimmy and all that. So it wasn't a fun decision, but I thought for not only just that year in the long term, it was something that we couldn't mess with. We had to stick with Jimmy at the time. Nothing against Jimmy, but it was hard to avoid Tom. And then watching how that went and stuff, it was tough. And I was like, man, if I ever had a chance again with Tom, that's something I can't pass up. And at the end of the season, when Brock, who we knew was going to be our future, but when he got hurt, and no one could guarantee that he was going to be healthy in week 1, that he'd for sure come back the right way. There was a lot of speculation in it, and no one could guarantee it. I didn't want to reach out to Tom. Now, Tom was the only guy I was willing to ride in the risk with Brock's injuries. I told Brock that. I said, Brock, in these 7 games you've shown us, like, you're not going to be competing with Trey. Next year, if you come back healthy, it is your job. The only way it won't be your job is if Tom Brady decided to come here and play 1 year. And I told him this like a week after the season, which I felt confident with because he was hurt. There was questions with him, and I was talking about Tom Brady. And so I just felt very good when I told him, hey, I know we spent a lot of picks to go get Trey. I know you've only played 7 games, you have a bad injury, but we believe you, and you are our guy of the future. The only way that won't happen is if Tom Brady comes for 1 year. And so I kind of looked at it as I was giving him the keys. I was telling him how much and saying there's this one outside chance, but I'm going to be dead honest with you. Anything in the back of my head. And that's the only thing in the back of my head. And probably there's not a very high percentage that's going to happen. So I felt like he should be leaving the room thinking, man, they believe in me. Like, the only guy you even consider is Tom Brady. So I kind of looked at it as a compliment. And Tom was done. And so it made it real easy. And once Tom told us that, just started counting the days to when Brock could get healthy. We worked really hard with Sam, really hard with Trey. Got the depth of our quarterbacks behind Brock well. And Brock did heal up, and he came out and tore it up in training camp, tore it up in week 1, and had a hell of a year.
Okay, great stuff. Again, that's from the TK show. I'm sitting here, I don't know if you're having the same thought I am. I'm like, I can't believe he's just telling this whole story. I know it's not the first time that on some level it's out there, but like,
He's laying it out there.
dudes don't need to do that. Nobody's forcing Kyle Shanahan to tell that story. But he is. And so tucked in there for me offseason, guys are sick and tired of Kyle Shanahan. They're not taking this crap anymore, and losing, and not calling the right play, and all this. My perception of what I've been told is that while football locker rooms always carry some frustration, I'm sure Brandon Ayuk is feeling that right now. Like, Kyle is largely very well liked, very appreciated for how straightforward he is. And there it is, right there. There it is. He's sharing it, and the fact that he's sharing that he did that. He didn't have to do that with Brock.
He went to him a week after the NFC Championship game where he gets hurt and tells him exactly what's going on. You're the guy. You don't have to compete with Trey. Except, there is this one thing. A guy named Tom Brady. If we can get Tom Brady to come here, well then, Brock, you're going to be the backup, most likely. And we're not going to have Tom Brady be your backup. But other than that, you're the guy. Go ahead and get better. When they find out from Tom that Tom's not coming, he's not going to come out of retirement, well, then you go to Brock and you say, all right, get well soon. I love the fact that he was so frank with exactly what went on. And the first time he tried to get Tom, after Jimmy's rookie year and stuff, and, Jimmy played well as a young quarterback and stuff, but Kyle was saying that, ever since he came in the league, he kind of had wanted to be working with Tom Brady, and so when he had that chance, you had to go out there and try to make that happen.
Do you remember the story that came out after the whole, the idea of the Niners going after Tom Brady when he was available, and the Niners had just been to the Super Bowl? That's well documented. But who called who was not necessarily always well documented. And then, do you remember the story where Brady, and this was an unnamed team, but Brady did not end up getting the gig with a certain team and was quoted as being like, you're going to go with that guy over me? Do you remember that story?
Yeah.
I mean, it's clearly the Niners now, right? Like he says, Tom wanted to come to us. Tom called us and wanted to come. And I thought about it, and I turned it down because it might ruin Jimmy, and we'd just been to the Super Bowl. And it made me immediately go, oh, well, there's that story. Tom, who knows Jimmy as well as anyone, they were teammates. It's probably true. He probably went to Kyle, and you're thinking, well, okay, over me?
Well, he just led us to the Super Bowl and stuff, and I feel like, he's a young quarterback, and, you had him under contract for a long time, and you didn't want to ruin Jimmy for maybe 1 year at Tom, and Tom goes to Tampa, and how'd that work out for you, Brady?
Listen, I can't rip it because I was of the same mind. Remember, Tom was coming off a very unimpressive year in New England. The Niners had just been to the Super Bowl. I know Jimmy's not perfect, but at that time, I'm thinking, why on earth, why would you derail what you've got going on with the Niners for what
42-year-old Brady,
42-year-old guy who really looked like he was declining? And then, of course, a year later, there he is holding the trophy again, throwing it into the ocean.
Exactly.
That's crazy. It is such a crazy story, man.
And tip of the cap to Tim Kawakami and the TK Pod to have the relationship with Kyle Shanahan to where Shanahan would be that comfortable to tell the story like that.
Yep.
Because Kyle really has nothing to gain. I mean, Tom Brady went elsewhere and won a Super Bowl. You stuck with Jimmy. It didn't work out. And yeah, you drafted Brock, and Brock's worked out, and you made it to the Super Bowl. But still, Kyle hasn't yet gotten to the spot in his career where he can totally be comfortable with telling the truth. I mean, he still hasn't won a Super Bowl, yet he feels comfortable enough with Kyle to tell that story. I'm impressed.
Well, and let's talk further about the quarterback situation. I've sort of said this already today. I want to say this without sounding like I'm taking a shot at Andy Reid. I think Andy Reid's a phenomenal coach. But the fact that, you're not even allowed to have a conversation about who the best coach is in the NFL right now without starting with him. It's like, okay, put that over there. It's Andy Reid. And maybe it is. Maybe it is. Andy Reid obviously deserves to be in the conversation. But somewhere along the road, there's some BS tucked into this whole thing, too. There's completely some, Andy Reid has some sort of cognitive, connective ability with his players that nobody else in the league has. He's just the most brilliant play caller. Or does he have the best player? He's got the best player. He was never that guy prior to having Patrick Mahomes. And now he does. So all of these things blend together. There's a little of this and a little of that. I'm not like dismissing any one side of the point entirely, but this idea that Andy Reid is on a completely different planet, I think is crazy, which makes me want to look at some other coaches and go, what would they be doing right now if they were getting that kind of production at quarterback? Now, I don't think the Niners have that. I don't think anybody has that. But I will argue that Kyle Shanahan, supposed quarterback whisperer, in all of his years with the 49ers, I'd argue that the camp that opens today is on paper the best situation he's ever had at that position. Brock Purdy, better than all the other QBs he's had with the Niners, and Brock Purdy this time is solidified and healthy. So to me, this is position A, as far as that. And he talked about that also on the TK show. Here's that.
It was different. It was so much more relaxing when the position is established. You know exactly where you're going at the position. That guy's healthy. You're just working to constantly get better each day. That's the fun part about coaching. I wish I could say it makes it a lot more relaxing and everything is chill after that, but no, it just allows you to focus on all the other stuff. There's always a ton of stuff that happens in the off season, but to have the quarterback position established and have a year where he is healthy and going into this, it's been very nice and it was needed.
Okay, that was actually podium, not TK show, but the point remains. Like, that's something that I don't think we've talked about at all, that puts the Niners in a position this year, in theory, we got a lot of ways, a lot of games to go play, but they're in a position now that they've kind of never been in before.
Yeah, you don't have to start from square one. You've got a quarterback who's coming off a year, a full year, a healthy year, a Super Bowl year, and now you get to start from square 8 or square 15, wherever you feel like you need to pick it up. And most of the skill guys that you had last year are back. I know you're always going to have, a couple young receivers, a new tight end, a running back. Those are depth pieces, but you get Christian and George, you get Debo and Brandon, and Kyle, and Trent, and all the fellas, they're all back. So your offensive unit doesn't have to start from square one. That's a huge advantage for a coach and for an offensive group that is looking to do more things, new things, and creative things.
All right, for those of you that are just hopping in the car after a day of work and maybe don't know exactly what's taking place at Niners camp today, no surprise that a good, healthy portion of the conversation, as John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan spoke to the media for the first time in some time, was all about Brandon Ayuk. So let's let you hear exactly what John Lynch had to say. This is another exchange, Kawakami doing the questioning here. But this is on if Ayuk has reported and what is the state of the negotiations.
As Ayuk reported, you got to report the other.
Well, the actual, they still have another hour and change, until, so I don't know if he is here, but we expect all our players to report and be here.
Any understanding with him that he will continue to negotiate? Is there any
We've had great communication. We started this really early. We made it a priority to try to get done. We've had excellent communication throughout. We really don't want to characterize it. We haven't been able to, and that's a shame. But Brandon's a big part of our team, and we expect that he will be this year.
All right. Again, I pointed out to me the most important two words of that whole thing were the last two when it says this year. Brandon's a big part of our team. We expect that to be the case again this year. This year. That's all you're going to hear the Niners cop to at this point. And now that we've arrived at this point, I think that's all they should do.
Right. Camp starts tomorrow. I know today was the report day, and he reported, and so tomorrow you hit the field for practice, and don't know if he'll be on the field or not, if he's going to hold in, or if they're going to slow play him and let him get out on the field next week. All of that is just in the details, but the bottom line is he's under contract, and camp is beginning. So go ahead, number 11, get out there and play football, and best of luck to you and to us, and hopefully this can all work out. I don't know how much negotiating is going to go on between now and February. That to me would be a bigger distraction than Brandon Ayuk playing on his 5th-year
I
deal.
agree. Yeah, I think this thing's cooked.
Agreed.
I think both people put cement on their feet. It's not going anywhere. And it's just now it's a matter of can you handle it. Now it's a matter of can you handle it. And I think the 49ers can, and I'm not sure about Brandon.
Well, TJ Hushmanzada, who joined us earlier, Brandon Ayuk's personal coach, was kind of intimating that he has to be able to go out there and handle it. But there will be ups and downs, no doubt, as there would be if you were in a situation, if you were coming to the show and you had an unsettled contract situation. Sometimes it's hard to stay focused on the task at hand.
John was asked if the Niners are okay with waiting into camp each year to get some of these things done.
I don't. I'm impatient, and it's, I love going. And I think, again, we've had a lot of really talented players, and it's, I think, put our track record against anybody in terms of getting players signed. I wish it could happen quicker, but I'm proud of our record.
Is there a due date on negotiations?
No date, yesterday, we'll continue communication, keep working.
Does the Super Bowl expectation put pressure to get a deal done?
We're trying to have success right now, but always keep in mind out into the future, and so that's what we'll continue to do. That's our charge. That's that's who we are as an organization, and we're going to push each year to compete for championships and do so, I think in a responsible way, and that's what we try to do. It's been good. It's been good to us. We've got to find a way to be a little bit better, and I'm excited for that opportunity.
Yeah, to me, just the overall message that I sort of received today that I thought they really, because Kyle and John, they all sat down yesterday and said, all right, we know what questions are coming. How do we want to answer these? And what are going to be sort of our themes that we want to put out to the public? And clearly, to me, one of the themes was, we've got a really good team and a lot of good players, and we've had to pay a lot of people, and at a certain point, that makes this more challenging with each contract that we sign. So it was kind of like they're directing people's attention to, I know what you want us to do, but keep in mind what we've done. So there's this reputation that our drafted guys, we take care of them. And we do. But it doesn't mean that that's an unlimited space. It doesn't mean we can just do it for everybody. At a certain point, it becomes too hard, and this might be that point.
And if this is the point, and you're Brandon Ayuk, you're thinking, what the absolute blank, because he balled out, he had a great year, career year, you need him. They said they love me, and yet here we are, and it's been reported 2 months since they've had substantial talks on a possible contract. That came from Ian Rappaport, Rap Sheet, on Twitter. So if that's the case, if there hasn't been much movement either way since May, that's 2 months, and now camp is starting. So I'm kind of with you as far as the likelihood of this progressing or this getting resolved now, because as we mentioned talking to TJ earlier, yeah, things have changed. The market changed, and so Brandon's ask probably changed, and the team's willingness to pay more than what they're willing to pay, that didn't change. And so here we are 2 months later at impasse, and now you got to play football.
What do you got, Greg?
We're up against it. We're going to take a break here in just a second. But before we do, this little piece of news from Adam Schefter. Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, who has been unable to land the type of contract extension that other wide receivers have, is not expected to report to training camp today. So that's where the Cowboys situation differs from the Niners with Brandon Ayuk.
Okay, let's get into that a little bit coming up next, because I do think there are some significant differences between the two situations, even though they're both in the same draft. All guests on 95.7 The Game up here on the River Islands guest line. Isn't it time for you to discover the islands, River Islands, and Lathrop? 888-957-9570, Willard and Dips.
Hey, what's going on? It's Willard for Safeway. Enjoy these amazing digital deals. And as always, earn 4 times reward points on hundreds of exclusive offers with your Safeway app. Now, how about this? Green or red seedless grapes. I love a good grape. $1.77 per pound, limit 4 pounds, member price. Lucerne, shredded, sliced, or chunk cheese. 6 to 8 ounce selected varieties. $1.97 each, limit 4 items, member price. Lucerne milk. Kids, drink your milk. Good for your bones. Or Open Nature almond beverage half gallon, selected varieties, $1.97 each, limit 4 items, member price. These and other great digital deals are available in the For You section on the Safeway app. Just download the weekly deals to your account, and then poof, they automatically just start saving right when you use your phone number at checkout. Go to Safeway.com for more of the details on all of these great deals. And of course, remember, look up. And we'll see you in the aisles. Introducing Lumi for Men, and we named him Mando. I'm
Dr. Shannon Klingman's brother, the inventor of Mando Whole Body Deodorant for pits, packages, and feet. Because we all know our pits aren't the only places we get odor. Mando Whole Body Deodorant is different from anything you've tried before. It stops odor before it starts, powered by our acidified technology. Mando controls odor anywhere you have it. Her patented whole body deodorant formula has over 200,000 five-star reviews. And because Mando has a 60-day stink-free guarantee, you can try Mando risk-free. Give Mando Whole Body Deodorant a try today and smell like the stink-free man you were intended to be.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 555 and get an extra $5 off a Mando starter pack that comes with a solid stick, clean tube, 2 free products of your choice, and ships free with code 555. Go to shopmando.com, code 555, for an extra $5 off a Mando starter pack. That's shopmando.com, code 555.
Looking for lifelong financial guidance? Look no further than Pettinelli Financial Partners, your dedicated financial coaches for every stage of life's journey. Whether you're planning for retirement, starting a family, or buying a home, we're here for you every step of the way. Visit PettinelliFP.com. The financial consultants at Pettinelli Financial Partners are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advice offered through Stratos Wealth Partners, a registered investment advisor. Stratos and Pettinelli are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Do you have a child who doesn't listen or tunes you out? Is a teacher telling you that your child may need extra support? Tune in every Saturday morning at 7:30 for Parenting with Vanessa Colon. 20 years of expertise empowering parents with the tools they need on 95.7 The Game. High five. Welcome. Heck yeah. Dave's company just got the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business. Yeah, 5 years. It's 5 years of gig speed internet. High five for gig speed. 5 years of advanced security. Security win. And 5 years of a great rate that won't change. Our rate ain't changing. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability. There it is. He hasn't given this many high fives since Deborah brought in her famous banana bread. Now he's got savings. I'm so excited. Yep, Dave's feeling it. But it's only for a limited time, so don't wait. Switch today and ask how to get the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business. Powering 5 years of savings. Powering possibilities. Comcast Business. And it's hurting, but I am not stopping.
Ends 8/21/24. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply. Brighten your summer at Whole Foods Market. Save on best of season fruit like organic blueberries and organic red cherries through July 23rd. Snack by the handful or add a burst to oatmeal. While supplies last, shop in-store or online. Terms apply.
Presenting a Game Flames love story. Dear love of my life, you were on the 12B bus this morning when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Game Flings. Try Game Flings with OxyBoost and Febreze. Alright, so there we were, cruising through the new open-air zoo, when I realized that the park was closing in like 15 minutes. Luckily, we were in my Nissan Road. It's powerful, PC turbo engine. He had time to see all the animals. Whoa! And not one of you!
Drive the Nissan Road.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for a 5th grade class recital, we have some Manda.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge motor oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart. Cooking results equals 9 tests under idle condition versus API SP test limits.
Now, back to Willard and Dibs on 95.7 The Game.
Director of Sports Lucas Alexander is out on the word optionality. Doesn't like the word anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's not going to like this conversation.
I was waiting for you to ask me how much that affects the way I'm going to go about using the word optionality. It's the Warriors' fault.
But how does that affect the way you're going to use it?
How do you use it more? You use option
optionality actually word, or did Mike that?
Drake Greenlaw is on the injury report today for Achilles.
Where was that?
Ideation. Say it. It's neither here. Actually, it's both here and there. Well, it's not neither here nor there. Talk to me about optionality, Mark.
Well,
Let's ideate on optionality.
the 49ers have it and the Cowboys don't. That's the difference between CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Ayuk.
Two
The
down
Cowboys
linemen.
are up a creek without a paddle because they're going to have to pay Micah and Dak and CD.
Hardgrave,
Right,
false start.
right, but CeeDee Lamb
Chase pointing at who? Chase Young, number 92. Javon Hargrave, 98.
and into the future.
That is not true for Brandon.
You can't force it at number 57. It just doesn't work.
They moved that thing around. CeeDee Lamb had 135 catches. That's 2 Niners rolled into one. They do need him more.
The other part about this is that you're right that Dak Prescott's about to get paid. However, Dak has also already been paid. So the Cowboys have already built a team that sort of encompasses a 40
Matthew Stafford got paid today.
quarterback. The 49ers paid theirs $900,000, but they're about to have to pay the piper coming up next year. So that's why
Brock gets
when I look at
900,000.
this, you know, we've
He
had
doesn't
so
get
many
1 million.
Conversations about leverage, and you'd think at the same position and coming out of the same draft with somewhat similar production, CeeDee Lamb a little
That's
ahead of Brandon
1970s money.
Ayuk. But you'd be like, why does CeeDee Lamb have any leverage? He doesn't have any leverage. He doesn't have all of it. He doesn't have a great amount, but he's got a lot more than Brandon. And that's why I am not surprised. In fact, I would have been surprised if Brandon Ayuk didn't report today. Because there's absolutely no win in Brandon Ayuk not reporting. It wouldn't have changed anything. And the only thing that would have been in question if Brandon had not reported would have been his own money. Every avenue that a lot of people want him to take or have been worried that he might take, they all lead to the same place. And it's Brandon hucking money out of a car window on the freeway. If that's what you want him to do, then you're right. He's got to hold out. He's going to skip games, or he's going to purposefully drop balls, or he's going to trip Debo when Debo's run. Like all of these things, he's not doing any of that. The only person who would lose would be Brandon. CD and the Cowboys, different situation, because that dude is the straw that stirs the drink.
And he is going to get his contract. And based on all the reports I've seen, I'm looking at Diana Rossini on Twitter. Both sides have been in communication, but no deal. And he's standing to make $17.99 million this year on his fifth-year option. So all of the reporting has indicated that there's been communication, and it feels like there will be a deal for CeeDee Lamb and the Cowboys before too long.
Sam Darnold is in.
If CeeDee wants to hold out, and the report date for the Cowboys in Oxnard is tomorrow, if CeeDee wants to hold out tomorrow and even hold
Oxnard
out
is
through
Los
the week and
Angeles.
maybe into next week and maybe even through next
Cowboys
week,
and Rams coming
the
up.
sense I get is that they're going to get a deal done, and CeeDee Lamb will be into camp
Rams.
they will excuse all the fines that
Fines
he's going to
coming
rack
up.
and he might get the second richest contract in wide
Fucking
receiver
Rams
history.
and Raiders coming
Probably
up.
at this point deserves it with the way that he's used there. But you also like harken back to our conversation with TJ. And by the way, Grandy, are you going to be doing some TJ coming up at 6?
Yeah, we're probably going to hear from him in the second half of the show. We're first going to just play back everything that John Lynch Calshan and Santa Clara.
All right, so if you missed TJ Hushmanzada in full, Grandy will have it later on in the 6 o'clock hour. You can go to the Odyssey app. You can go to YouTube. You can check out that full interview because it was predictably fantastic with insight into the Ayuk situation. But tucked into that conversation, do you remember where he said the Dallas Cowboys have been the #1 most awful team in the league at
Damn,
handling
hit to the
this
face.
kind of a situation? You know what I'm realizing doesn't always work. I know we're suggesting the 49ers
Christian
do it
McCaffrey
now,
with the trash
but
time,
what
trying to get
doesn't
that
usually
touchdown.
work in these situations is waiting. I think waiting gets a really good reputation. You know, just take a breath. Patience is a virtue. And wait. Well, yes, you can do that, and you can let things unfold, but also it's kind of like looking at beach real estate and going, you know what, honey? Let's
Thanks for
wait till
watching
next
the
summer.
Jags and 49ers.
Well, probably not. One thing that consistently is going to go up, beach real estate. Here's another thing that's going to consistently go up. Wide receiver salaries, or any salary for that matter in the NFL.
Other than running backs.
Other than running back, it's just going to keep going up. So the longer you wait, the worse it gets. And yes, you can end up in a Cowboys situation where both Dak and CD and Micah Parsons are all sitting there staring at you with comps around the league that suggest the numbers have only gone up 5 to 10 million.
Is going to be a guy who makes
There you
more
go.
than
Now you
Brandon
know who
Ayuk
won.
would, and that's pretty apparent based on the way the contracts have gone.
34-3,
The Cowboys need CD
Jags lost.
more than the Niners need Brandon Ayuk. Now, the Niners want Brandon Ayuk, and they do need him certainly for this year.
This is why
And then beyond this
Kyle
year,
can
that
pull
all will
Brock, but he
certainly
never
determine
pulls
based on
Christian McCaffrey.
Debo, Pearsall, and all the rest of it. But right now, the Cowboys cannot function without CD Lamb in their offense, and CD knows it, so you hold out, and you probably sign a contract within a week, and he's going to get not quite Justin Jefferson money, but I would bet that he gets the second most guaranteed at signing money.
It's got to be north of 30. It has to be north of 30.
Yeah, not the average annual, sure, but I mean the actual money, the actual guaranteed money is
CMC lighting up a wide receiver.
Oh, I would check his
Jefferson got.
They turned the ball over on downs.
Listen, I mean, the actual guarantee, the guaranteed at signing.
Wasn't the, I know that, this confused, the actual guarantee, the guarantee at signing, wasn't the reported guarantee up above 80?
Yeah.
For Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, that was the guarantee, but not the guaranteed at signing.
Correct.
Anyway,
I get what you mean.
it's all nonsense.
CeeDee Lamb, I would predict, is going to be north of 50 with his guarantee.
Justin Jefferson's total guaranteed was $110 million. Guaranteed at signing was a little over 88.
Yeah, 88. There you go.
There it is, yeah. I think CD will be north of 50. Calvin Ridley got almost 50, didn't he? CD's not going to accept that.
Yeah, A.J. Brown got 51.
Yeah. So it's going to be north of all that. CD can absolutely claim that right now, in this moment, he should have the second biggest wide receiver contract in the NFL. No question about it. So I don't know, man. Such a shame that the Cowboys are having problems. I hate it. It's really a bummer.
Well, it's a little bit of a shame for the Ayuk Niners situation because if that contract does land where we think it might, which is, maybe $60 million guaranteed at signing and 32.5 average annual value, all that does is raise the market a little bit more. Whether you think he's a comp or not, and he's probably not a comp for Brandon Ayuk, it does move the goalposts a little further out.
It does, but don't you think that the 49ers have arrived at a point, I do, where this is no longer a subject matter for August 2024? And the chance that they're taking, which is that we want to give Brandon 26 right now, but he won't take
Are the
it.
Niners going to be in the
only
victory
risk they're
formation?
taking is if Brandon has a monster year and CeeDee Lamb signs for 32 a year.
50 seconds left in the vid.
guaranteed. The only risk we're taking
Who is
is
kneeling?
that means if we
Sam
want to sign
Darnold
Brandon
is
next
in the
offseason,
game
instead of giving him
kneeling.
26, we'll give him 30. Maybe 31.
How do you main event
That's really the only, because you can still cut
AEW
Debo,
with,
but you're
and you
also
bench
opening up the possibility of we don't have
the
to sign
icon?
that at all. And Ricky Pearsall
This
is going to
stings.
connect, and we can just let Brandon walk.
They should have put Purdy back in to
Contract
kneel
I
it.
think that they possibly might sign between now and the end of this year would be a one-year deal to just give Brandon $27 million for this year.
How many
That
angles
way
do they
he can
got on
play
this?
free, and they can feel better about this not being a thing.
Yeah, that would be an interesting sort
Again,
of like
again.
next thing
Where's
to do.
where's Brock Purdy?